All right, folks, we are officially live. Welcome everybody to my Sunday live stream. This is my Sunday Q&A live stream where I answer your questions. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thanks so much for being patient with me. My schedule is just really chaotic during the summertime, and I normally try to do this every Sunday, but it's really hard for me because a lot of the time I'm traveling back home here to Nashville on Sundays. So it can be a little bit challenging to follow through with doing this every Sunday, but I'm back here. I'm home in my home studio this weekend, so I'm here today. And I always really love doing these. It's always so fun to see where the conversation goes. And it's kind of like juggling, 100 different conversations at once, because everybody normally has great questions, and you just never really know where it's going to go. So it's really fun. But I want to say thank you to everybody out there that has been watching all of these videos that I've been posting lately. It's just really been incredible. So thank you so much for all of that. And I wanted to share with you guys some instruments here in today's live stream and just talk about them. I have been going crazy lately. The bug has bit so bad and so hard. And I have just been buying all kinds of really cool instruments. And man, it is just amazing the stuff that I have been finding lately. I'm definitely going to be eating ramen noodles here going forward for the next foreseeable future because of how much I've spent on these instruments. But man, I am just so excited with the instruments that I have here now. The stuff is so original and so clean and just beautiful and plays and sounds amazing. So I am so stoked and I'm so happy with this stuff. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that, but here in today's live stream. But if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. And if you guys would like to support the channel, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There's many ways you can support this channel. I offer one-on-one online lessons, and I'm teaching people from all over the world. It's amazing what that has turned into, and you're actually seeing and hearing the exact setup that I use for these online lessons. So if you're interested in this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. It's linked down below. And I have a bunch of other links down there as well. So go and check out all of that stuff. Your support is really needed. These live streams I literally do for free. I don't make anything on this. So any and all support is always really appreciated. And I can't do this without you guys. So I'm forever thankful to all the supporters out there. But let's see here. So we've got Ben in the house. Hey, Ben, how's it going, man? Thanks so much for being here. Great to see you. He says here, welcome home, Justin. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here, and great to see you, man. You've been a supporter of mine for a long time now at this point, man. So I really, really appreciate that. Let's see. We've got Godson in the house. Hey, bro. What's going on, man? Nice to see you. Good to hear from you. He says here, good morning. How was the trip yesterday? It was good, man. It was good. I got back really late last night, man. I didn't get back till like 2 in the morning, so I'm a little bit tired here this morning, but I'm just happy to be back home, and man, I'm so happy with the instrument that I got. So, folks, the trip that Godson is referring to is I went out to Missouri yesterday, and I went to go pick up a 66 Fender Telecaster. It's an original blonde finish, and it's 100% original. And the fretboard is just perfect. It's a rosewood fretboard, and there's no crazy divots or no crazy wear on the fretboard. And it just plays and sounds amazing. It is so clean. It is unbelievable. And it's very lightweight as well. This guitar is only 6.7 pounds, so I was really impressed with that weight. These tellies can kind of be all over the place, but I like a nice lightweight telly. And man, 66 is such a great year for the Telecaster. The neck profile is perfect. I love the decal on the headstock. I love the pickups. The pots are just really great. And it's just a really great year for the telly. 66 is a really solid year. It's a very thin finish on the guitar as well. Before they started going into the later 60s and early 70s, they started finishing those tellies a lot heavier. And, the finish really affects the tone of the guitar. It really changes it, if you're finishing these guitars really heavily, it doesn't allow the wood to breathe, and it just really changes the tone. So that's why I just love a great 66 Tele. I've been on the hunt for a great Tele for a long time. I currently have a custom shop that's like a heavy relic Telecaster that I like to use out on the road and for gigs and stuff. And that works fine, but this 66 Tele just blows it out of the water. I mean, it's not even comparable. So I don't know. I may end up getting rid of that or trading it or something, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's just a really great guitar, man. I'm really happy with it. And I honestly prefer a rosewood board on a Telecaster. I like the way it looks. I like the way it sounds. I just prefer the tone of it for sure, and I love the blonde finish with a rosewood board, man. I just think that is perfect. It is just beautiful. So, really, really happy with that. Let's see here. We've got Magic Matt in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Says here, I hope you still have the 61 335. Oh, yeah, still do. Yep, still got that guitar. It's absolutely perfect, man. I've got a Calton case for it, which I really recommend too, by the way, folks. I'm not endorsed or sponsored by them. I've paid for these cases with my own hard-earned money. But I just love those cases, man. I think they are just indestructible. And if you have something that is that valuable, like a 61 335, you just got to have a solid case for it. The originals are just not the best. So I really recommend that. Those Calton cases are really expensive. They're outrageously expensive, but they are really, really nice for sure. So I've got one for that, and I've got one for an acoustic, actually. And, but yeah, that 335 is just awesome, man. It's really great. It's got the original PAFs. It's factory stop-tailed. There's no brakes, no crazy modifications. There's none at all. It's been refretted, but other than that, it's 100% original, so, but that guitar is just magical, man. It's so inspiring to play. It's just excellent. But yeah, I've been really happy with that. The PAFs in that guitar sound great too. I just love PAFs, man. It is crazy what original PAFs are going for too, by the way. I don't know if you all have seen that on Reverb, but man, I've seen some lately, and I mean, God, they're going for, 10 grand, 12 grand. I mean, people ask all kinds of crazy money for the PAFs, but I can't believe how high those have gotten, man. It is unreal. But the thing is with PAFs too, man, is they're kind of all over the place, man. They're a little bit different. I've played some that are really great, like in my 335. I love those pickups in particular, but I've played some other PAFs that are a little, there's a lot of low end and they're just not as good. So they're kind of all over the place, man. But man, when you find that perfect set of PAFs, man, it's just magical, man. There's just nothing like them. But let's see here. Godson says here, nice, happy that you found a great Tele. Your collection is pretty damn good. Congrats. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've been really happy with the stuff I've been getting, man. I'm really into really clean, like perfect condition guitars. I don't really like repairs on guitars. I try to stay away from those. But all of my instruments are 100% original. They're all really nice examples of these instruments, and they play really perfectly. They sound amazing. But the collection is pretty amazing, man. I mean, I've got the 66 Tele. I've got a 69/70 Les Paul Custom that is just perfect. It's really, really nice. No breaks, no modifications, nothing. Plays great. Really could use some frets, but that's pretty typical for that era of Les Paul because the frets that they use in those guitars are really small. But I've got that. I've got the 61 335. I've got a 64 Strat. I'm going to have a 64 SG coming up here this week, which I'm really excited about too. I sold a 65 SG that was all 64 spec, except for the headstock angle, and I was kind of like, man, I need an SG, and I just happened to find one here that is just perfect. There's no repairs, no modifications. It is just killer, killer. And it's 64, so it's really collectible. So I'm going to have that. And then I also have a 64 Hummingbird acoustic, which I found just recently as well. And man, that guitar is just amazing, man. There's no repairs. It's 100% original. And, with a lot of those vintage acoustics, you really need to be careful with those because there's a lot of cracks and a lot of repairs and a lot, the neck needs to be reset. There's just all kinds of excuses and BS with a lot of these vintage acoustics. So I've always honestly stayed away from them, but I've always wanted a real vintage Hummingbird acoustic. And I found this one here in Nashville, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 100% original. There's no repairs. It's absolutely perfect. So I was like, yep, I'm definitely buying this. So I'm really happy with that. And I think that's all the instruments, unless if I'm missing something. I mean, the 61 335, the 66 Tele, 64 Strat. I've got the 64 Hummingbird. I'll have a 64 SG now as well. And then I do have a set of reissue instruments as well that I just take out on the road. And, that's just an R9. And I have a Pelham Blue SG reissue and then a 335 reissue. So pretty cool for sure. But I think I may get rid of that Custom Shop Tele. I may try to find something to maybe, trade that guitar toward or sell it or do something. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm really happy with the collection. And also you can see the backdrop here. I've got this 64 Deluxe Reverb that I found recently too. This is just in collector grade condition. It's absolutely perfect. It is perfect. And it just sounds incredible. So that with the 335, with the Tele, with the SG, the R9 Les Paul or the Les Paul Custom, I mean, it's just a killer combination. So let's see here. We've got 1002 Northeast in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? Nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. He says, Justin, bro, got to give us a heads up. I almost missed this. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, I kind of just decided last minute, man. I got back into town at like 2 in the morning, and I woke up and I was like, man, I'm going to go do a live stream. So I just made a quick link and did a little post here on YouTube, probably, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours ago or something like this. So maybe you just missed it. But yeah, I kind of just decided last minute to go ahead and, do this live stream. So, but always love doing these. It's just really hard with my schedule sometimes, a lot of the time on Sundays I'm traveling back home, so it's really hard to make this time work. And I do like doing this on Sunday mornings, it's a nice time for sure. But let's see here. Godson says here, is there any difference between PAF and early patent number? Yes, I would say. I think they are very close though. But honestly, I love the patent number pickups, man. I think they are very good. They are very consistent as well. And that's kind of the thing, like I was saying earlier with PAFs, is they're all over the place, man. I mean, you could have a set of PAFs that just sound incredible, and then you could have another set that maybe has a lot more low end, or they're just different, like I was saying, So I'm really picky with the PAFs. They really have to sound a particular way. But I have found that the patent numbers, honestly, are very consistent. Across the board, man. I mean, I've played many patent number pickups that I'm just like, man, I love the way that this sounds. There's a certain output that I personally like, but it's different for everybody. There's some people that like, hotter pickups. Some people like lower output. It just really kind of depends. But there's definitely kind of a magical number that I have found for myself that I really, really like. But yeah, I got to say the patent number pickups are really consistent, man. I've played many guitars with those pickups in there, and I'm just like, man, this just sounds incredible. So so much better than the reissue stuff that they make now, man. It's just, man, I'll spare that rant, I suppose, but I just get so frustrated with the reissues, man. I mean, it is so crazy the amount of money that they're asking for these reissues, and they're just not good instruments, man. I mean, it just is mind blowing to me. And I'm not trying to diss, these companies, but like, I'm just saying this out of the passion and the love of the instrument. And I just can't believe what they're charging for these instruments. And some of the stuff that I've seen that they put out is just, I mean, I cannot believe it has passed quality control. And, I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff with these new instruments. And man, like, I have these old, guitars, from the early 60s, and it's like, man, the pots are perfect on them. Like, I never have to clean them, I mean, I'll have a brand new guitar. I remember I got a brand new R9, and I had it for a week, and the pots were already dirty, man. They're already scratching up. I mean, they're just not reliable. And really, that's a pretty minimal issue. I mean, that's not that big of a deal. You just take contact cleaner and clean them out. But, I mean, it's just kind of crazy to me that it's a brand new guitar. I mean, and the new pots are just garbage. The new electronics in general are just nowhere near as good, in my opinion. And it's just crazy, man. It's mind blowing to me what they charge for these instruments. Anyways, let's see. Ben says here, Justin, off the top of your head, do you know the difference between the brown-faced and blonde basement heads compared to the one like yours? I'm just curious. I'm not a big fan of the brown face Fender stuff, man. I really like the blonde basements. The blonde basement to me is just, it's very musical. It's very much like a Marshall, to be honest. And that amp in particular just sounds excellent, man. With the addition of the presence knob, it does make a difference for sure. You get this extra top end sparkle that you just don't get with the blackface basements. Now, I'm not saying anything bad with the blackface basements. I love those amps. I absolutely love those amps. And man, I remember back in the day here in Nashville, you could find those for $400 all day long. And I remember I used to buy them all the time because I just love them so much. But I do think I like the blonde basement, man, better, to be honest. I kind of go back and forth on that. I love a blackface basement as well, but I do like that additional little top end sparkle that you get from the blonde basement. But honestly, I'm just not a big fan of the brown face Fenders, to be honest. I don't really like them. So for me, I like a black face and a blonde basement. My favorites for sure. But let's see here. Ben says here, can't wait to see and hear all these new gems you found. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like I was saying earlier, I'm definitely going to be eating ramen noodles going forward. Because I've spent so much money on this stuff. I mean, that is the thing. I mean, I love vintage guitars. I'm so passionate about it. And man, I really don't do this for the money. I do it just out of the passion and the love of this stuff. But it just gets so expensive, man. It is just crazy. And, I'm lucky that, I've been collecting for quite a while, and, I've been doing it for a while, but man, it has just gotten crazy. Like, getting started now, man, I mean, you really got to have some serious money to get these vintage instruments, man. I mean, they have just gone up so much. It's unreal. So, it is nuts. But I just love this stuff. I'm so passionate about it. I mean, that's why I drove out to Missouri yesterday. It was like a 6.5 hour drive, so it wasn't that bad. But I just went there, picked up the guitar, and turned right back around. Because that's another thing. I don't really like to ship vintage guitars, man. Like, I've just seen all kinds of crazy stuff. And, people and, at UPS or FedEx, like, they don't really give a shit. They throw this stuff around. And I just would be devastated if something happened to my 66 Telly or something. So I just like to go and drive and pick it up myself and just, put it in the back of my car. And I know it's safe. I know it's perfect. And that's that. So Let's see here. We've got Soft Southern Night in the house. Hey, man, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Says here, have you ever played a Hunter boutique amp? They have one that is wired like an old AC-10. Was thinking of buying one. That's cool. Yeah, man. I mean, I've never played those. I mean, there's a lot of amps out there and a lot of companies that do this kind of thing. You know, they just recreate a Vox, they recreate a Marshall, they recreate a Fender. Um, you know, for me, I like the matchless stuff if you're going to go with a Vox kind of style tone. Or I really like the 90s Vox era amplifiers. I actually have a 90s AC-15 that I really like a lot. And it's probably cheaper than the Hunter boutique amp. I mean, I'm not familiar with the company, but if it's boutique, you know, a lot of these companies like to really charge a lot of money for their amps or, you know, guitars or whatever. And you know, to be honest, I just don't really like a lot of that stuff. You know, I mean, it's just my own personal opinion. I like Fender Vox Marshall, man. Those are my favorites. I think a lot of these companies, they try to do their take on this amp, but it's not the same, and I just normally don't like it. So, you know, for me, I would personally get an AC-15 from the 90s. I absolutely love those. They're made in England. They sound killer. And what I actually like to do with those is I like to run them in stereo. So I'll get one side of the AC-15, and then I'll get another side of like a Fender Deluxe Reverb, you know. So I'll have like a dual mono setup going, so I can get both tones happening, you know. And those amplifiers complement each other so well, because you get the mid-range and the chime from the AC-15, and then you get all of the low end and the mid scoop from the Deluxe Reverb, and the two of those together are just a really nice combination. And my pedal board is set up to go stereo, so that's how I'm able to get both of the amps happening. But you could just run a little this German company called Layla, however the hell you say it. They make a box called the P-Split, and if you plug up your guitar into the P-Split, you can split out into both amplifiers and get them totally in phase and no kind of humming or anything like this. So, you know, it's really, really great combination. But for me, I like the 90s Vox stuff. I think that's great, and it's a lot more affordable. And I do like the matchless stuff as well, man. I think that stuff sounds great. It's just the matchless stuff is really, really expensive. And you know, I've seen an AC-15, I think that they make. I can't remember if they do make one or not. I'm pretty sure they do make one, though. I remember, I think I've seen one in the past. But, you know, I used to have a DC-30, and that was a 90s Samson era DC-30. And I love that amp, but it's just so effing heavy, man. I mean, God, I used to lug that thing in a road case, and it was like 150 pounds, man. I mean, it was nuts, you know. And I love the way that those sound, but man, oh man, are they heavy, man. It is crazy. And, you know, I'm just happy with the AC-15, man. I like the 15 watts. I like the 112. It's a tighter, more focused Vox sound rather than the big, wide AC-30. And for me, I like that for that kind of tone, man, for the Vox thing. So I like the 90s Vox AC-15s, man. I think they are phenomenal sounding. So, and also, too, since I'm talking about Vox amps, you know, I would really stay away from vintage Vox amplifiers like from the 60s, because they are really unreliable. They have a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and they're not the best built, to be honest. So that's why I stay away from like 60s Vox amps, because they're just really unreliable. And, you know, I really am not that crazy about those. You know, I would much rather have a 90s Vox AC-15 or AC-30, because they're a lot more reliable and they sound great, you know. They're really, really good sounding. But that's the only vintage, you know, from the 60s, like the amplifier company, that I try to stay away from. If it's Marshall or Fender, Hell yes. Those are amazing, amazing. But let's see. We have Dinant Romers. Hopefully I said your name right, man. I'm sorry about that. He says here, question, main difference between 65 and 64 reissues Princeton. I think that's the hand-wired one that you're talking about versus the non-hand-wired. Um, you know, they're both great. I really don't care about it being hand-wired. I like just the standard Princeton reverb or just a standard deluxe reverb. They work great. They sound amazing, man. I use a reissued deluxe reverb that is not hand wired. It's a 100% stock deluxe reverb all of the time for gigs. All the time, man. I mean, literally every week, several times a week. And they're incredibly reliable. They sound kick ass. And for a live gig, man, they just work, man. I love them. I mean, they are different. The reissues are very different compared to the real 64 Princeton reverb or deluxe reverb. I have a pre-CBS 64 deluxe reverb right there that is just kick ass. It sounds unreal. And it is funny how different the reissues are compared to the vintage ones. But that said, I still like the reissues, man. I use them all the time. And I don't think you really need the hand wired. It's kind of a gimmick, and in my opinion, I think it's just way more expensive, and you just don't really need that. You just need a standard 65 reissue Fender, whether it's a Princeton reverb if you want more of a sweeter, kind of a tighter, smaller kind of guitar sound, or if you want a deluxe where you kind of get the best of both worlds of kind of that smaller but bigger kind of guitar tone. It's still a 112. It's 22 watts, so it's got enough power. Sometimes a Princeton reverb could be a little low in power for certain situations, but I have found that the deluxe reverb is just the perfect amp. I mean, across the board. You could use it in any genre, any gig, literally anything you're doing, and it's the perfect amp to bring. So I just love a deluxe reverb. But it depends, if you're recording and you want that sweeter kind of, it breaks up quicker kind of guitar tone, then a Princeton reverb is also great too. They're awesome. But really, any Fender amp, man, I mean, you take a Vibralux, you take a, Pro reverb, you take a deluxe reverb, you take a Princeton reverb. I mean, they're all kick-ass. They all sound killer. I mean, the only ones that I don't like are a twin reverb. I think if you're going to be playing clean entirely and not using it with pedals, that's one thing. That's a great tone. But if you're going to be using it with a pedal board, I don't like what a twin reverb does with the pedals. It's the only amp that I would say from the Fender line of all of those that I don't really like. The rest of those are all really kick-ass. And also the Fender Super Champ. If you're looking around for a Princeton reverb, something to consider are those 80s Fender Super Champs. They sound amazing. They're a very small amp, and if you're trying to go more of that route with having a smaller amp and less wattage, check out the Rivera era Fender Super Champs. They sound incredible. I have one myself, and I use it all of the time. All of the time. They sound kick-ass. And it's cool because there's actually two channels on there. You got the clean, and then you got a lead channel. And you can run an extension cabinet with it, with the lead channel. And I've heard that actually Warren DeMartini, actually recorded a lot of leads with the Fender Super Champ. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's actually true or not. But it's pretty amazing how versatile that gain channel is. And the clean is amazing. It takes pedals really well. And a very small, very tight focused guitar sound because it's a very small cabinet and a smaller speaker and smaller wattage. So really, really kick-ass amp there for sure. Where the hell was I? Sorry, that kind of got a little long there with that answer. Let's see. I think I was right here. Yeah. Robert's in the house. Hey, Robert, how's it going, man? Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. He says here, would you buy a new China made, no, AC30, or spend the dough to get one in England? No, I wouldn't get the made in China ones, man. They're really unreliable. And, you know, honestly, I'm not really too happy with a lot of the new reissues that they're making there in England now. I really like the 90s Vox amps, man. I have a 90s Vox AC15 that works really well. It sounds kick-ass. And I like to blend, again, the AC15 with the deluxe reverb. So that's really how I use that. But I love the 90s Vox stuff. It sounds great. But let's see. Soft Southern Night here says they are $8.99 for a new Hunter. That's cool. That's not really that bad, actually. I'm kind of surprised. I would have figured like a boutique amp would be more, but that's not a bad price. I think for $8.99 though, you could spend a little bit more and just get the 90s Vox AC15. So that would be my opinion, but it's entirely up to you, man. It's whatever you like. But let's see. I answered. Oh, I already answered that. Yeah, just hold out and get a 90s Vox made in England amp there. But yeah, folks, man, this has been really kick-ass. Thank you guys so much for all of the questions, man. This is really awesome. I do want to take the time to mention that I offer one-on-one online lessons. You know, this is a huge help for me, and it's a really great way to support me and support this channel. So if you are interested in these one-on-one online lessons, hit me up today at jkm4231@gmail.com. All of this stuff is going to be linked down below in the description box, and I'd be happy to get you all some more information on this. But you are literally seeing and hearing the exact setup that I use for these online lessons. It's all shot on a 4K camera, and it's all pro audio. And what's so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end. So you could just simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. So it's really cool because you can actually retain all of the information that I give out within these lessons. So if you are interested in this, hit me up today at jkm4231@gmail.com. It's linked down below. And while you're down there, check out all of the other links that I have down below there. You know, if you wanted to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really appreciated. I don't make anything by doing these live streams. This is truly a donation of time. I just do this to show my support and my appreciation to everybody out there that watch my videos and love what I do, you know. But again, this is a donation of time, so any and all support is really appreciated. Thanks so much for listening. But let's see here. Ben says here, at Robert, I know you're not asking me, but my advice is to always hold out for the best quality. Totally agree, man. I do the same thing. There's just no point, you know, and then like you try to save money by buying something that's not as good, and then you end up not liking it, and then you got to sell it, and then you end up losing money on that, and then you got to go and find something that's better quality that you really want to get, and it's just really a giant waste of time. So that's always been my strategy from day one with this, is like, I'm just going to wait it out until I can afford the top of the line, man, and just always be happy with the gear that I've got. And, you know, a lot of the vintage stuff has appreciated so much in value, too. So it's really just been incredible on that end of things, too. But let's see, 1200th East here says, we're heading to New York for a few days. Are there any guitar stores you recommend looking at? What part of New York in particular? I'm only really familiar with upstate New York. I'm not too familiar with the city, but I have seen some stores online that look really cool in the city that I would love to go and check out. But I'm not really too familiar with New York, to be honest. I don't really know the area that well, except for upstate. I've played up there many times, but I don't really know the city. I've only ever passed through there. But yeah, I'd be curious with that. So let's see. Danant says here, thoughts on the Modern Nobles ODR, which one to get? I'm not crazy about them, to be honest. I don't really like them. I think if you're looking to get a modern ODR, I would just not get one and get a Greer Lightspeed. That is the name of the pedal, Greer Lightspeed Overdrive. That is a phenomenal pedal. I use that Lightspeed all of the time, all the time. I use it here in town, I use it out on the road, and it just kicks ass. It's a great pedal to use with a deluxe reverb if you have a Fender amp. It just really gives it a nice mid-range, and it's a perfect amount of gain. And I use it all the time. I mean, I just love those. I think they sound so much better than the modern ODRs. Now, if you're looking to get a 90s, ODR one, those are great. But even with those, they are all over the place. They're not all the same. So I think if you're looking for a new pedal that's going to be really consistent, get the Lightspeed. It's a phenomenal pedal. It's a perfect amount of gain. It's a low to medium gain kind of drive. And it gives the deluxe reverb a really nice mid-range. And I just love that thing, man. It sounds kick-ass. But let's see here. Soft Southern Night here says, thanks for the advice. Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for joining me here today. And Ben says here, thanks, Justin. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers, folks. Thanks so much, Ben. Really appreciate that. But yeah, folks, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. I normally go for, it kind of depends on the live stream. Maybe I'll go for an hour or an hour and a half or something. It just depends on the engagement. So, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. But again, if you guys would like to support the channel, be sure to check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. It really helps me out because making these videos and doing these live streams is pretty much a donation of time. And, any and all support is really, really appreciated. So again, go and check out all of that stuff. And again, really appreciate it. Danan says here, I use a 335 and a Princeton. Oh man, that would be the perfect combination. 335 with the Lightspeed and a Princeton reverb, man, that is phenomenal. That's a great, great combination for sure. And he also says here, I've heard that the Lightspeed is a bit heavy on the low end. Is that true? Nah, man, I've never experienced that ever. Heavy on the low end, I would think the total opposite. They have a frequency knob, so depending on where you set that, that's going to change the frequency of the pedal. But I normally keep it at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like this. And I'll turn the volume up, and the gain, it just depends on where I have the volume set on the amplifier. Now, I do like to run a RC boost before it, just to gain it up a little bit and just add or subtract a little bit of EQ depending on what I'm hearing from the room. But that's it. That's all I do with those. It works great. So that's my main little small pedal board. I use a Peterson Strobo Stomp tuner. I've got an RC boost, a Lightspeed, and then I have an EQ Boss GE7, and then I've got a MXR carbon copy delay. And that's it. That's the entire board that I use for 90% of these gigs here in Nashville. And I think that's another thing. A lot of people really obsess over the pedals and all of this gear and all this stuff. And, honestly, you really don't need a lot of effect pedals. You really don't need a lot of stuff to really get a great tone and for a lot of these gigs. Now, I do have another pedal board that's a lot more versatile and has a lot more effects on it, just for the situations that I come across where I need a phase 90, or if I need a tremolo, if I need a reverse delay, if I need a chorus, all of this other stuff. That's where my other pedal board comes into play. But, to be honest, you could just get one of these. The Line 6 HX1. This is a really cool pedal that really does everything. Now, the only downfall to this pedal here, and anything that is digital, is the latency. That is the only thing that I have noticed with the digital stuff that I really do not like. And for me, I am an analog guy. I'm just an analog guy all the way through, man. I don't really like the digital stuff, but what is cool with this pedal here is if you need something like a chorus, you need a reverse delay, you need a rotary, you need a tremolo, whatever. This thing could very easily do all of those sounds. Now you could only do it one at a time, but still, who cares? Like, this thing has, I don't know, 100, 200 plus effects. I mean, it's insane. Like, and depending on the music, depending on what you need, this is just a really cool tool to just have on hand. I personally like the older M9. Like, if you're going to go that route and you want a lot of flexibility and a lot of foot switches and a lot of stuff, because you don't experience the latency, whereas you do with these. That is the big downfall. But this is also very affordable, and it's very small. You know, the M9 is much bigger in size, and you know, this thing is so versatile. You could do so many different things with this. It's just unbelievable. So I think every guitar player should just have one on hand, just in case if you need it, if you need some kind of reverse delay, but it's not something that you need all of the time. It may just be for a song or for a particular gig that you're on or something, and you could just very easily throw this down and program it up, and it's fine. I can deal with a little bit of latency with how versatile this thing is. So I really like it a lot, and I think every guitar player should have one. Very small, very, it doesn't take up very much room on a board, and it's very affordable. So I think that's cool. But let's see here. Danan says here, Lightspeed and RC booster sounds killer. Yeah, definitely. It's killer, man. That's all I use. I mean, I use this literally all the time. And I even have the same approach on my main pedal board, where I was just talking about how this pedal board is a lot more versatile. I can get a delay, all of these different effects happening, reverse delay, whatever, rotary that I need. But for my drive section, it's still the same thing. I have an RC boost. I'm just looking down at it here because I have it down here below my desk. But, I have an RC boost. I have a Ram Nobles ODR1, and I have a King of Tone. And I just use one or the other from the Nobles or the King of Tone. But it's the same idea. The RC boost goes into the drive pedal, whether it's a Ram Nobles or the King of Tone. I just like the EQ difference, and I like having a different amount of gain on hand with this pedal board. That's why I like to have normally 2 different gain stages for my main pedal board. For a small travel board, though, you really only need the Lightspeed and then the RC boost just to elevate the amount of gain. And then from there, I have the EQ. So it's the same idea with my main pedal board, but I just have the King of Tone on there and a couple other effects. I have the M9, which again, that does everything. It does the reverse delay and chorusing and rotaries and stuff like this. There's some sounds out of there that I don't really like, but that's why I have an actual script logo Phase 90 going before the drive section, and I have a real Ross compressor that I really love a lot. But really everything else out of the M9 is really solid. I do have a tremolo as well, which I don't really like the tremolos out of the M9, but that's why I have a Strymon Flint. I love those. They sound killer. So that's really my strategy with that. But that said, for 90% of the gigs, I could get away with just using that travel board, and it works great. And for me, I like to just focus in more on the actual playing and performing my parts and performing for my crowd, rather than worrying about all of these effect pedals and all this stuff. I mean, I see some of these guys' pedal boards, and it's just mind-blowing to me how they could need this many effect pedals for modern country or for rock. I mean, do you really need all of these pedals and this massive pedal board? I mean, I wouldn't want to go very much bigger than like a pedal train 1 or 2 size. This pedal board, the main one I have is a pedal train 1, so it's like 22 wide by 12 and a half. And that's as big as I want to go for a live gig, man. I don't want to have something that is, 40 inches wide or some kind of refrigerator pedal board. I mean, something nuts. You just don't need all that shit, man. It's way too much. And for me, I like to perform and I like to play, and you just don't really need all of these different gain pedals and boosts and all of this shit. I mean, some of the stuff I see with these guys' pedal boards is just mind blowing to me that they need that many effect pedals. So for me, it's all about just turning up the amp and just plugging in and going, man, and rocking, man. That to me is way more fun than having to worry about all of these different effect pedals, man. And then from there, I just use the guitar volume knob to clean up. That's it. But let's see here. Danette says here, I play pop and rock things as a rhythm guy. Lightspeed and RC booster enough. Oh, totally. That would be perfect for that genre. Yeah, that is more than enough. You just got to turn your amp up. That's the biggest thing. You know, if you have your amp down low, the pedal is not going to behave the same way. So that's a big mistake a lot of guitar players make as well. You know, is they have the Fender amp that they're playing, like a Deluxe Reverb or a Princeton, on 0.5 or on 1. And if you hit the front end of that amp where the amp is that low in volume, it's just not going to behave the same way as if you turn up the amp. You know, if you have it up on 3.5 or 4, which is where I like to set it, that light speed and the RC boost is going to be more than enough. Because now you're driving the power amp section a little bit more on the Fender amp, and you're moving air. And that's really important, man, when you're going in for this drive sound. You know, if you're playing rock, it's not meant to be played on 0.5 or 1. So I don't really understand that with a lot of players, you know. I mean, they have the amp down so low, and it sounds so bright and tinny and sounds like shit. You know, I just, you know, playing rock and roll, you turn the amp up, man. That's what it is. That's how it goes. I mean, for me, if I'm playing a Marshall, I turn them up. If I'm playing a Vox, I turn them up. If I'm playing a Fender, I turn them up. So that's just how it's meant to be played, man. Guitar is meant to be loud. It's meant to be powerful. You know, you should be moving air, you know. I'm not saying that you have to play at AC/DC volume. You know, you don't have to play that loud. But like a Deluxe Reverb on 3.5 or 4 is not that loud. It's not that loud. Especially it's down low. It's not like a 412 angled cabinet or something that is, you know, getting into the microphones. It's down low. So there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that is more than enough with the RC and the light speed, man. I mean, it's killer. So that's a great combination. But anyways, folks, if you feel like you got something out of today's live stream and you guys do want to show your support for the channel, be sure to check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. If you want to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support really, really is appreciated. This is a donation of time. I don't make anything on this. So your support really, really matters and it really counts. So be sure to check out all of those links that I have down below in the description box. If you are interested in one-on-one online lessons, please hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. I teach people from all over the world, and you're actually seeing and hearing the exact setup that I'm using for these one-on-one lessons. It's all shot on a 4K camera, and it's all pro audio. And what's so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end, so you could just simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. So it's even better than taking an in-person lesson, because you can actually go back, rewatch the recording, and see exactly what I'm doing and hear exactly what I'm saying. So for more information on this, hit me up today at jkm4231@gmail.com. It's also linked down below in the description box. Thanks so much for listening. So if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I was talking a little bit earlier on in today's live stream about some of these really cool instruments that I got. And I just got this beautiful 66 Tele. I'll go and grab it here and share it with y'all. Check this out. This is a beautiful 66 blonde Fender Telecaster with rosewood board, and it's just beautiful. Really clean, really nice condition, and it's 100% original, so I just picked this up yesterday. It's got the original logo there, And this fretboard is just really nice, man. It's just perfect. I mean, there's very little wear on this. And, a lot of these older tellies, they have a lot of wear down below here at the neck because these necks have been on and off a million times, and just from people trying to jam it in the slot here. A lot of these lower bouts here just get really chewed up and effed up. But this is really clean here, man. And I just love a great blonde rosewood Telecaster, man. It's just absolutely beautiful. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. And, it's 100% original. I just picked it up yesterday, and I'm just loving this thing. So picked this up, and I also got some other stuff too, man. I've got a 64 Hummingbird. I mean, I've just been going crazy lately. It's just been nuts. I mean, I got a 64 Hummingbird. I'm getting a 64 SG this week, which I'm really excited about. It's 100% original and super clean. And I've got a 64 Hummingbird, 64 SG. And then I also got a 69/70 Les Paul Custom. That's a transitional era Les Paul Custom. And it's a really cool guitar, man. It's super clean. And it's really cool with that guitar because there's no Made in USA stamp, and there's a very little volute, very tiny. You can't even really notice it. So it's a really transitional guitar and super rare. So I bought that as well. But I've just been going crazy, and I just love this stuff. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. But beautiful original blonde finish. And you could always tell these finishes because you can see the dark wood grain underneath. If you look close throughout the finish here, you can actually see the dark wood grain here. And that's how you know that it's a original blonde finish. So, really beautiful. And this guitar is only 6.7 pounds. So really lightweight. And a lot of really nice wear on this. Not really too much. A little bit here. I wonder if somebody was just kind of playing like this, maybe, and then they were just kind of picking with their thumb there, or what exactly happened there, but it's kind of interesting. But really nice example of a really cool instrument. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, let's see here. Still got a pretty great crowd here, and some really cool engagement. Let's see here. Been going for about an hour now already. Man, that is crazy. Let's see. We've got Robert here, and Robert says, who would you recommend around Nashville to make a bone nut for an acoustic? Oh, man. I mean, there's so many guys here, man. We're so lucky here in Nashville to have amazing luthiers, I mean, the guys over at Glazer are great. You pretty much can't go wrong, man. There's a lot of really great people here. Glazer, even Doug Gerald over at Rumble Seat, he's a great tech. I have him do a lot of my stuff. Who else? I mean, gosh, even Gruen Guitars, they're great. I mean, there's so many great luthiers here. But yeah, I would probably recommend them, man. You pretty much can't go wrong. There's a lot of great people here that do it. But anyways, folks, if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. And I'm just kind of hanging out here today. I'm gonna get some more videos out this week as well, so stay tuned for all of that. I've got some more gigs this week that I'm doing, so I'm gonna be busy, and I've got a lot more teaching coming up here as well. So just really busy, man. It's really just been rocking and rolling lately here in Nashville for me, and really thankful for all the work. It's really been excellent. And again, thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate this. It really means the world to me that you guys watch these videos and you guys come here on the live streams and support me. I have people from all over the world that support me, and again, I just think that is so cool. And I run into people all the time from all over the world that recognize me, that stop me in public, that want to take a photo, and I'm always happy to do so, because I just think that is so cool how I can make a video here in my home studio and share my music and share this stuff with you guys. I just think that is so awesome. So again, really appreciate that. But yeah, that is pretty much that. I think I'm going to sign off here for today, folks. I really appreciate all of the support as always again. And be sure to come back and join me next Sunday. I'm going to be going live once again here on YouTube. And I think 11:30 in the morning is a good time for a lot of folks and for myself. So I'm going to follow through with that for next week. But again, I apologize. I'm not always able to do this every week because of my touring schedule. Normally on Sundays, I'm coming back home, or I could be getting rest from the night before because it was just really chaotic out there on the road. And it's really important to get your rest when you're out there on the road, man. It will really kick your ass if you don't. So sometimes it's just really hard for me to make it work. But come on back next Sunday and stay tuned for a bunch more videos I got coming up here soon. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.